and welcome to the CDO Magazine interview series. I'm Todd Foley, CDO and CISO with Lydonia. Today, I have the pleasure of talking with Karima Zahrir, Director of Data Analytics and AI at Louisiana Pacific Corporation. Now, data governance is not a new challenge, but it certainly seems to be a continual one across every organization, and even something that people feel they solve at a point in time, but then have to go back and remediate a few years later. How are you approaching it? And is there any aspect of the newer technologies that makes that easier or harder than it used to be?
That's a great question. Data governance is really a very important and forgotten area most of the time. From my perspective, I look at it as twofold. There is the process and business stewardship part of it that we need to identify and work with the business to ensure our data is secure, it flows properly. But then there is the technical aspect of it with the data lineage, data cataloging, all of those wonderful things that we used to think that we can get away by doing that manually. With all these tools, it's impossible. It became essential to ensure that we do have a technology framework to manage that. And we are in the process of reviewing some vendors. We obviously have our priorities and we're reviewing those with those vendors and make sure that whatever tool we choose, it will integrate with our existing tools. So that's something that we're putting as one of the top priorities for our 2025 and looking forward to getting that set up.
How is the business engagement from a data governance standpoint, right? It's one thing to ask somebody to own quality of data. It's another to expect them to review exception reports on a regular basis or to make actual process change. Do you find that there's a strong partnership there, or it varies?
I believe we have enough partnership to get started with this initiative. Yeah. And like I said, I am not an all or nothing type of person. It's always a phased approach. We're always going to come back to that. So I'm happy to report that we do have very strong allies that we can start working with. And I truly believe as we showcase our success, all those people who are not 100% bought in will see the value and come in. So that's how we're approaching it at this point.
I like that. It's my ethos as well, is perfect is the enemy of good. You always want to improve things, but you can't expect to get to perfect overnight usually. I think you mentioned security too. And I think there was a point in time where, while we were very cognizant, certainly in any kind of regulated industry, we paid a lot of attention to data security. Things have changed quite a bit, and there's more attention on it than ever. And where we used to be able to address it with just encryption solutions or other simple approaches, we're seeing most organizations move to a model, whether you call it zero trust security or trustless security or any of the other coined words. Really, where every access to data, it has to have contextual awareness and has to be validated and authenticated in unique ways. Are you seeing that as something that's hindering your acceleration of modernization and new architectures and business initiatives, or do you have a strong partnership with security? And how are you approaching the challenge in general?
That's a great question. And I have to say, if you had asked me this question, probably with my previous employers, I would have given you a different answer. But it's been wonderful teaming up with our CISO and the security team to ensure that we are putting a complete solution that's going to help our business do their core work or grow, but at the same time, it's safe and secure. I don't mind a few steps to ensure that what we're putting in is going to be solid. And I hate technical debt. Going back all the time to fix solutions because we found a vulnerability. So I would say I truly look at security as an important and integral part in providing full-scale enterprise solutions.
That's fantastic. And I'm glad it's such a positive now at LP. Karima, you have a very broad background, and you're tackling today at Louisiana Pacific pretty much every one of the top 10 things that we talk to other CDOs about as priorities. Do you have any advice for your peers on approaching all of these things, and are there any lessons learned that you can share?
Well, that's actually a great question. I have to say, one of the things that I truly believe in is being flexible. The CDO's role is you can either succeed or you can fail very quickly. And in order for you to succeed, you need to have the back end of the business. They need to understand the value that the data will bring to them. So I would suggest that there is a strong relationship and collaboration with the business. That's number one. Number two, I would say listening and making sure you receive the feedback well and adjust accordingly. Because what we might think is right from the data perspective, if we don't understand the business and where it's wanting to go, like I was mentioning earlier about starting with the metrics that are important, then build your strategy accordingly. You don't just come with the IT mandates. You need the collaboration. The other thing is training and making sure you have allies and champions, what I call in my world as data citizens.
Yep.
Those are going to help you share the knowledge. They're going to help you ensure the best practices. So some of these things are very important. And the last thing is really work with the IT leadership. Security is a real threat. Make sure that we have good governance frameworks for our enterprise. So it's just, this is a very nimble role where you need to wear multiple hats, like you said, depending on the situation. And if you're rigid, maybe this role is not for you.
Well said and good guidance. Thank you, Karima, for joining us today. For those listening, please visit cdomagazine.tech for additional interviews. Thank you.
Thank you.